Oh. Are going over.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah. Are we live and going? Contact with high school admin.
I can see it.
Do you have a more up-to-date version of Zoom?
No, but we're live.
I know, can you plug in because she can't get into the
Yeah,
Zoom?
you'd have to plug into the TV. How long is that? Okay, long enough. It's long enough. If you go around the other side, it's gonna be a little bit long. Yes. Yeah.
Bad, but also I did have.
Yeah, it took a minute to recognize mine, so there you
Okay. It looks like we're good. Cool, thank you guys. All right, so we just met in executive session, so I'll take a motion to come out of executive session.
So moved.
Thank you. We have a motion in a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 5-0. It's out of the agenda.
Oh, sorry.
Oh,
No,
no,
I-
thank you, sorry. Thank you, okay. All right, thanks everyone for your patience. We needed to chat quickly in executive session. Our first order of business is a public hearing for changes to zoning table A, municipal buildings. We don't have docs for this in the, oh,
It's probably on the new business one.
is it its own thing?
Yeah.
Okay. Apologies, yeah. Thank you. All right, so this is, I'll go ahead and open a public hearing, just to provide some context.
You better speak up.
Okay. The planning board received an ordinance amendment from town staff for an amendment to chapter 140, attachment 1, table A, add municipal buildings. This change will allow municipal buildings across all zones. This change will be necessary when considering future building. So that is our public hearing here this evening, is to essentially modify table A from a planning perspective to allow municipal buildings in all zones. I will open it up for public comment. Does anyone have any comments? If you could come up and state your name and address.
Richard Clary, 10 Swains Hill. Now, if I caught that right, this is something about municipal buildings, could be anywhere,
Yes, the modification would allow municipal buildings in all zones.
or I'll just make a statement, I'd like to see municipal buildings be in the center of town if possible, and stay there.
Thank you. Any other comments, questions?
Paul Steinhauer, 19 Hill Drive. A question and a comment. According to the chair of the planning board received an ordinance amendment from town staff. Who's town staff?
Code enforcement officer myself.
Also, thank you. I'm trying to think back, and wouldn't have this been an issue when we did the police station, number one, and number two, it seems like it's a little bit premeditated at this point, because with the outpouring from the first of many hearings for the town hall, it seems like there's no need for this. So I'm questioning as to what's the motivation here and why move so quickly when we're not even ankle deep into the discussion of moving this building elsewhere. So when I saw municipal buildings, I said, didn't we deal with that with the police station? So maybe you could give me some background.
Yeah, I'll be honest with the police station. That's a great question. None of us were really here at that point in time. So I don't know if that was
I was, but I can't answer that question,
yeah.
to be honest with you.
I don't recall.
Say, you were on the planning board, I was sitting here, and I don't think either one of us could answer that question. So I don't know how they did it.
Yeah.
Magic.
Fair point. I mean, I don't know how productive it will be to kind of figure out what happened
Well,
there, but
Yeah, just that
just
was
to be
more,
perfectly honest.
more of an
Madam-
Not sure.
observation.
Go ahead.
Madam Chair, I'd like to respond to Paul's. So this isn't motivated by the town hall. When we talk about municipal buildings, how we discovered this is we got talking about, it was centered around the town hall at first. Then I started to look at the police station. So there is a thing in the state law called home rule. Home rule just in the state statute, it basically says towns don't have to follow our own ordinances. We don't have to follow, we're exempt from what we make, okay? However, that's kind of a tacky thing, right? I tell you that you can't have a sign for your business in front of your home business, but I can put up as big of a sign as I want because I'm the town, I'm the big guy. It's really not a fair assessment. So how this came about was, we looked at table A, whether it's the public works building, the police station, the fire station, the town office building, the salt, sanitary, whatever it may be, should be listed to be fair to all the rest of the ordinances if we're gonna follow the processes from the town. Then to say, who approved putting the police station there and why would you put a police station in a, let's say in a residential neighborhood? Well, we can do that. By law, I can do that because even if you said, okay, Tim, I'm gonna sue the town of South Berwick and you won, town of South Berwick pays a fine to the town of South Berwick, right? So this was just an effort to make across the board, nothing to do with town hall, essentially do with all municipal buildings. The timing stinks, but to answer your question, Paul, no, it wasn't specifically for this. It's because the ordinance was never written correctly to begin with. It should have, we can always say by home rule, but I have heartburn with that because it makes it look like the town is disparaging the citizens. So I would rather say, then let's look at each municipal building, and then it still should be in front of the planning board. So the planning board would still say, and the public would still have public hearings and all that other stuff. So it's nothing to do with the town hall. It's to do with an ordinance change for just fairness, I think, for the rest of the whole community.
A more global change, and like you said, the timing just so happens to coincide.
Right, so everybody thinks it's this, it's not this. It's got nothing to do with this. It's got the fact that I couldn't find how you got the police station over there. And we shouldn't be making, municipal government shouldn't be making rules that supersede the citizens, don't apply to that. So this makes it so that we now, as the municipal government, will follow all the same rules the citizens do by going in front of the planning board and giving them the rights for a public hearing and so on. That's
Perfect, great. Thank you for the history.
Yes, and I think just to elaborate on that, I think that there's some other work happening with town staff to kind of just take a look at all of our ordinances and figure out where are there places where we just need to make some updates to, clean things up a little bit. I think this is one example of many changes.
Right.
Maybe many is not the right phrase, but changes to come just to get our zoning ordinances
Yeah,
current.
tip of the iceberg.
Yeah.
And the truth is, that's it, Paul, exactly what the council chair said. And you and I have had this discussion, and so have I with your wife and other citizens. A lot of our ordinances are way outdated. They have never been kept up with the times. This is just making it fair for me, for the citizens, which will force the town to go in front of the planning board for any vote, which would give the citizens a public hearing to say I'm not here, and somebody wanted to do that.
Got it. Great, thank you.
Yeah. Anyone else? Tamara, would you come up?
Tamara Steinhauer, 19 Hill Drive. So since a lot of our ordinances are out of date, is there a plan to look at all of them?
Yeah, he looks at me. There is, but it's gonna be a financial cost.
Yep.
But what we need to do, the first one, yes, so the first one that needs to go is the land use ordinance, as you see.
Mhm.
And that's probably gonna take, I couldn't honestly tell you, it could be a year, it could be 8 months to 14 months. but that's gonna encompass a whole bunch of things. We are recognizing that as we go forward, our land use ordinances don't even mirror state laws in some particular cases. So yes, it's in the works. I didn't budget it this year because I'm still catching up on other stuff, but my plan is soon, try to get it
Are
together.
we talking like 10 grand, 100 grand?
Sorry, Tamara, I'd like to keep us on topic for
Oh,
this specific
sorry.
public hearing.
Okay,
If you want to ask the
thanks.
question in public comment, that's fine.
No, that's fine.
Okay.
Guess I'm all set.
All right, thank you. Anyone else for the public hearing? Anyone on the phone? Okay, all right, any counselors, anything?
I'm speechless.
Okay, all right,
Madam Chair.
yes. No,
In listening to what Tim just had to say, with the exemption rule of municipal buildings and stuff, that I did know, so thank you for putting that forward, because to me, this is kind of like a do as I say, not as I do, situation. And, in talking to, some of our taxpayers, they look at, the town as a business. People come here to pay their taxes. They come here to renew their dog licenses, to buy ATV licenses. We generate revenue that goes back into the community, but we're technically a business. So the concern is, if we view municipal buildings as businesses, then shouldn't they just be zoned in business zones? Something to consider. Like, instead of saying we can put a municipal building anywhere, if we're technically a business, shouldn't it go in a business zoned area? Or it kind of goes back to the do as I say, not as I do, because we're gonna you can't put your business in this zone because it's, it's not a business zoned area.
So, I'm kidding, may I respond?
Yeah, just give me one second. I think part of it is we already have municipal buildings in other zones.
In other zones. Oh,
Is that,
Yes, it does happen, but so the idea that when the state created the home rule in the early 1900s, they recognized, so maybe we decide that we need a fire station in your neighborhood. Okay, that's a municipal building in a residential neighborhood. Home rule allows us just to do that, okay? If you follow that process and you said what you just said, that we can't put it in, except in a business thing, then we couldn't put that fire station in the neighborhood.
Right.
So water treatment plants, fire stations, schools, municipal buildings, municipal public works facilities. So they have the home rule thing, but that's what the home rule exists for. But I just think for more clarification, it's better if we put it into our codes and ordinances ourselves. And then what this does is kicks it to the planning board so that the public does have a fair say in a public hearing.
Yeah.
So you would give them one anyway, but this also gives fair oversight, I think.
yeah, absolutely. And I'm glad that Paul's question actually dragged the home rule out of you, because I'm sure a lot of people are not aware of that. So to make things fair across the board, then it absolutely makes sense. So thank you for that.
any other counselor questions, comments? Okay, all right, 6:46, we'll go ahead and close the public hearing. Thanks, everyone. And we will go ahead and get started with our regular meeting. One thing that I would like to throw a motion out, though, I would like to make a motion to move up new business number 5 to address that item before we get to approving the minutes.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 5-0. Thank you. So give me a moment to find these documents. We have Jeff here from the VFW. I don't know if, Jeff, there's anything you would like to add or speak to on this. I'm trying to find the documents. Apologies.
Copy, Madam Chair, if you need it.
I have them. We've got a lot of documents today,
I understand.
and I should have found these for the motion. Okay, so the new business number 5, action on the Purple Heart Town. The town received a note from, did I receive the note from you, Jeff?
Yes.
Sorry?
Page 88.
Page 88, thank you very much. Okay, yes, from Jeff. reaching out to the town, making a formal request to have the town of South Berwick become a Purple Heart town. This act would display community support and properly honor our veterans who are Purple Heart recipients. It's vitally important we recognize those servicemen and women who were wounded during combat action and displayed their selfless devotion to duty while serving their country. VFW Post 5744 will cover all costs of signage and plaques incurred on roadways. We look forward to your continued support of our veterans throughout our community. And then there were some enclosed guidance for this. So I think the item for us is to take up a motion to become a Purple Heart town.
Madam Chair, I would actually like to make a suggestion that we do not put the financial burden on the VFW. It's only $308 for the signage, and I feel like we've spent way more money on more insignificant things. I don't think we do enough for our veterans and for acknowledgement, and I would like to put up a discussion that we actually foot the bill for these signs instead of the VFW. I don't know
Question.
how we would do that.
Yeah, question for Tim or Jen, if we were to do that, what budget would we pull that from? And do we-
Council's got the other line there, what other walls? You got a line for some fences, I'll just take it out of there.
Take it out of our lineup?
Or highway, yeah.
Okay,
We'll figure it out.
okay. Any other comments or discussion from the council?
I just have a comment. I've seen the Purple Heart Town plaques at specific areas when you're entering Elliott or York, and understanding where those may be placed within South Berwick, and also understanding that the existing signs that we have are very out of date as far as our other social, say our Orange Jewett, kind of Masonic Lodge, those types of things. So just ensuring that if we put these up, that we maintain them over time and that they're cataloged and have done good repair.
So they're not our signs. We will buy them, so we won't maintain them. That's not up to us. We only maintain highway signs, road signs, traffic signs, that sort of. So that would have to be up to the VFW.
Jeff, can you elaborate on that? Is that part of the VFW program to periodically
Yes,
update?
Madam Chair, we would do that. My thought initially was Route 4, north and southbound, 236, east and west, I guess. There's a lot of places in Ford and minimum, I think would be good.
Okay.
And we would certainly do that, particularly when the town's going to, purchase somebody, if they would, we would maintain them. But there are a lot of signs, as you come past the golf course, we used to have a meeting sign there, and there's a bunch off to the right-hand side that are obscured by trees and stuff, so it is important that once you put them up, you have to maintain them.
And do you all usually partner with towns to kind of install the signs, or?
Well, that would be helpful if we could work with a town crew to do that. We could certainly do it on our own, but it would be helpful.
Oh, we can put them up.
Yeah.
We'll take care of that stuff, but
Yeah.
they just, once we get them up and stuff, I mean, we'll do what we can to maintain them, but as far as like keeping them clean or stuff like that, they would have to do that, but we'll certainly work with you. We can probably, we'll put them up for you, and we'll figure out where they're going, we'll
Thanks, sir.
meet with you, and we'll take care of that. We can do that. That's the least we can do.
And just for the record and for everyone, this is Jeff Chase, who's the commander of the VFW Post 5744. Jeff, is there anything else you'd like to add?
No, I just appreciate the town showing the support for the Purple Heart recipients. We're having a conversation, how many, are in the town of South Berwick. I mean, that's important, but if you imagine all the traffic that comes to the town, and even veterans that aren't Purple Heart, you're making a statement that that's important to us, and I think that's should be important to all of us. It's favorable in the town, so I appreciate you taking the time to, discuss it and take care of it for us.
Thanks for coming out.
Thank you.
Any other questions or anything from the council? All right. So I will go ahead and make a motion to I'll make a motion that the town of South Berwick become a Purple Heart town, and also that we foot the bill for the signs. The signs should cost about $308.18 to come from the town council budget.
Second.
Any discussion?
Madam Chair,
Yeah.
it looks as though there's a draft proclamation on page 91 of the supporting documents. Is that something that we need to address? And
I would think that we would need to,
Typically, it goes to the town clerk.
yeah,
I would be more than glad to draft something, work with Barbara on it, if that's good with the council.
yeah. Barbara, I was thinking that we would, we'd kind of vote on this tonight and then we vote to sign the proclamation at a next meeting, or can we do that this evening?
You could vote to sign it now.
Okay.
Or authorize Tim to sign it.
And just when it's done, I'll just sign it for the council.
Okay, can we amend the motion to have Tim sign the proclamation on behalf of the town council? And then I can go ahead and read the proclamation. Purple Heart City, whereas the city of Nevada, Missouri, and our community. That should say self-power.
Yeah, so this just need to be edited.
Madam Chair.
Yeah.
So like I said, I can edit that or.
I can do that.
Okay.
Then I
The verbiage is pretty much the same, we just have to change the names to protect the innocent.
Okay.
can we authorize the staff to update this and then we vote on it?
Sure, I mean,
Yeah, and then you can verify the language.
okay, okay. So we'll keep the motion as we're gonna become a Purple Heart City. We're gonna put the bill for the signs, and then at next meeting, we'll vote to sign this and all of that. Good? Okay. Barbara, do you have what you need? Yep. All right. Thanks, everyone. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion passes 5-0. Jeff, thank you for coming in.
Thank you very
Well,
much.
I think it sounds like from staff, we can handle it from
Okay.
here, right?
I'm sure you can.
Yeah.
Thank
But
you so much.
thank you so much for coming in and thanks for reaching out.
I appreciate it.
All right. Okay, thanks everyone for moving that up a little bit. Next, we have approval of the minutes from our town council meeting on June 27th.
Madam Chair, I move we accept the town council meeting minutes of 6/27/23 as written.
I'll second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Madam Chair, sorry, point of order. Because you have people on Zoom that don't have their cameras turned on, you'll have to ask the council's names according to the phones.
Okay, all right. Thank you for reminding me. I forgot about that. Okay, all those in favor say aye. John,
Aye.
Jeff,
Aye.
I, oops, sorry.
Melissa,
I,
Mallory votes aye. Motion passes 5-0. Okay. Up next, public hearing. Any amendments to this?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Second page, fifth comment down. Can we change that to Abby Sherwood? Using the Kemble, please.
I would just question that because that is not her legal name.
I'm gonna be honest, I don't know how we deal
I
with
will stand here and bow to the one with knowledge, ma'am. I did as asked.
You guys can do whatever you want.
I think let's go, we can go ahead and make that amendment for these minutes. I think that's a question that we should make sure we understand for future.
Legal name should be used.
All right. Any other edits? Okay.
Stop like that.
Oh, sorry, I have one. So the meeting minutes, I had shared with, during the public hearing, I had expressed that the email comments that we had received from folks, who weren't able to attend the public hearing, that those would be added to the minutes. And I know I had sent those over to a bunch of people. And I also am acknowledging that there's a chunk that we're missing from what I sent you guys. So it actually works that that's not in here. So, I'm wondering if we should table, finalizing the minutes until our next meeting. And so we can have a chance to get all of those comments included here.
So you actually want them typed into the minutes?
The ones, the email comments, yeah, I feel like those need to be captured somewhere,
They're in the official minutes book with this.
but they're not here. Where are they? Like, where would someone go to see the email comments?
The official minutes book in the office.
I would like to be able to get them online.
We can attach them.
Okay. So I'd like to have those attached to the public hearing minutes for 6/28 or 29, whatever day it was.
Yeah, I can put them, I can attach them on file online.
Okay, cool. So does that, then it make sense, Barbara, to wait and approve the minutes till our next meeting once we've got them all in there? Because there's a chunk that I'm missing.
Madam Chair.
Yeah.
So if, just make the motion, you make a motion, I recommend it. Motion be that you accept the draft minutes with all the documented attached emails to it.
Okay.
They were submitted on, and by the approved date, you, and nothing after, or whatever was that you received that could go with this, then she'll just take and put everything with it, and she can post that online.
Okay.
That's all.
Okay. Okay, so we'll go ahead and I will make a motion to approve the minutes from the public hearing on June 28th with.
John already did.
Oh, did you already make a motion?
Yes, ma'am.
So we just need to amend the motion to include all of the email attachments and the change to everything.
So amended.
Second.
Thank you. Sorry, we're a little clunky tonight. Any other discussion? All those in favor, say aye. John?
Aye.
Jeff?
Aye.
Jessica?
Aye.
Melissa?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 5-0. All right, thanks everyone for your patience. Okay, so we're moving into signing the treasurer's warrant, just for the next, I don't know, couple months perhaps. We're going to have more warrants than usual because the fiscal year just ended. So we'll have warrants to sort of close out fiscal year, 22, 23. And now we're officially in the next fiscal year. So just an FYI for folks for future. So our first treasurer's warrant is dated June 30th, 2023. This would be one of those ones that was from the prior fiscal year. I'll make a motion to sign the treasurer's warrant from June 30th, 2023 in the amount of $59,186.77.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. What is the recycling equipment?
It's canisters for the transfer station.
Okay. All right. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye. John?
Aye.
Jeff?
Aye.
Jessica?
Aye.
Melissa?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 5-0. Okay, up next, this is a fiscal year 24 warrant dated July 6th, 2023. I'll make a motion to sign the July 6th, 2023 warrant in the amount of $116,529.73.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. John?
Aye.
Jeff?
Aye.
Jessica?
Aye.
Melissa?
Aye.
Mallory votes aye. Motion passes 5-0. And last, oh wait, I think my comment before was incorrect. The previous one was for fiscal year 23. This one is for fiscal year 24, but they have the same date.
Yes.
Okay. I'm gonna make a motion to sign another warrant dated July 6th, 2023. This is for fiscal year 24 in the amount of $926,648.62.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion?
This includes our new school payment of $752,849.
Thank you. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye. John?
Aye.
Jeff?
Aye.
Jessica?
Aye.
Melissa?
Aye.
Mallory votes aye. Motion passes 5-0. All right. We don't have any presentations tonight. Public comment. Is there anyone in the room that would like to speak on anything that's not on the agenda? Audrey, if you come up to the podium.
Thank you. Audrey Fortier, 21 Rodeo Road. Did you guys say the Pledge of Allegiance in an executive session?
We said the Pledge of Allegiance right before, we have to say the Pledge of Allegiance before the meeting begins, and once the meeting begins, we make the motion to go into executive session, so we said the pledge.
Okay, I missed it, and I was gonna say, I'm working with a 10-year-old, and he didn't know who George Washington was, so these little details matter.
Thank you for checking, we did it. There's people, Cliff was here, right? You could attest, yeah, we did it. Do you have a comment? Go ahead.
Clary, 10 Splains Hill. I consider myself a really conservative person, but I wonder if anyone's had any thoughts about having signage or flags, welcome to South Berwick. North Berwick does it. And not that I want to spend a lot of money, but does anyone ever have any thought about the town having flags that welcome South Berwick? That's my comment. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anyone else in the room? Anyone on Zoom? Abby, go ahead.
Hi, Abby Sherwood, 51 Tamarack. Can you guys hear me okay?
It's a little echoey, but go ahead.
I had 2 comments. I guess the second one is the fun one. I wanted to thank Nikki Drake for
We're just muting one of the TVs. There we go.
Try
Okay.
that.
That should be better.
All right, I don't think all right, great.
Turn that over.
I just wanted to thank Nikki Drake and Alana and Carlin with the South Berwick Recreation Department. They are doing a wonderful job with camp. My girls got in a coveted spot last week and just had a wonderful time. It's a lot of work that goes into that, and I'm just really grateful that we have such a wonderful program here in South Berwick for our youth in the summer. The next part was a question, and this was actually something that I've spoken with Tim, the town manager, about a few times. I just wanted to get a status and an update to see what's going on with this, but it's pretty dangerous pulling out an old mill onto 236 if you're trying to make a left. People unfortunately think that there's a turning lane to go into Old Mill. So I know that there have been some accidents there before. I myself, last fall, was driving my daughter to the district musical rehearsal. First time ever, I let her in the front seat, and the same thing happened. Someone pulled into the side shoulder using it as a turning lane, which it's not. It created a huge blind spot. I thought I was clear. I pulled a left onto 236 and I saw the whites of the eyes on the person that somehow managed to not collide with my car. So I wanted to, I know that 236 is a state road, and so Tim had mentioned that he'd need to talk to the state to get the authority to put zebra stripes down right before the entrance to Old Mill. That would hopefully make that more safe and be like a visual cue to motorists that this is not a turning lane. So I just wanted to get a status report on that. See, Tim, if you had found out from the state if we had allowance to zebra stripe that.
I addressed that. I talked to the district engineer last year, and I have not heard back, and I'll follow up again.
Okay, thank you. That was it.
So, unfortunately with the state, we're getting ready to, we officially July 1st took over Main Street 236, and we tried to set up a meeting with the state DOT to finalize all the material on that, and they didn't meet with us on that either. So trying to get state DOT to do some stuff is difficult, but I'll continue to reach out to the engineer again and see if I can shake the tree.
Thank you, Tim.
Thanks, Abby. Anyone else on Zoom have any comments? Okay. All right, we'll move on to, we don't have any unfinished business. We're all new business this evening. So first, taking action on the amendment to zoning ordinance table A, for which we just had a public hearing. Any discussion from the council?
I'll just say, I think some good points were brought up in the public hearing. As far as, optics and stuff like that. But I think one of the things that we've been seeing this year and last year is a different sort of management and running of the town. And this is my perception and how I feel that I'm doing as a counselor, in not looking at South Berwick only as it is, but potential for the future. And I think that this ordinance does exactly that. It doesn't mean that things will change. It's thinking ahead potentially for a potential future. So that's how I perceive it. And I appreciate the public comments, because that came with the public hearing, because I felt similarly when this was first presented to us. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. Any other discussion? All right, anyone want any question? I'll go ahead and make a motion to amend our zoning ordinance table A to include municipal buildings in all zones.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. John?
Aye.
Jeff?
Aye.
Jessica? Aye. Melissa?
Aye.
Mallory votes aye. Motion passes 5-0. Thanks, everyone. Up next, renewal of a liquor license for Ingrain.
Madam Chair, I move that we renew the liquor license for Ingrain. Their business in good standing, and we've had no reports from the police chief to be otherwise.
Second.
Melissa seconds. Any other discussion? All those in favor of the motion say aye. John?
Aye.
Jeff?
Aye.
Jessica? Aye. Melissa?
Aye.
Aye. Mallory votes aye. Motion passes 5-0. Up next, we have a special amusement permit for the Stage House Inn. Thank you. Okay. Pride provides some context here on the Stage House Inn plans to have live music. State and town ordinances require any business that serves liquor to also obtain a special amusement permit if they are going to have live music or dancing. This permit will expire at the same time as the Stage House Inn's current liquor license, which is October 4th. So if I understand this correctly, if we move forward and approve a special amusement permit for the Stage House Inn this evening, then in October, we'll have an item to renew the special amusement permit and the liquor license. Okay. Okay.
Madam Chair, I move that we approve the permit for the Stage House Inn for special amusement.
I'll second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion?
Quick question.
Yeah.
Is this indoor or outdoor?
Indoor.
It is indoor.
Yeah, they don't have an outdoor.
I think they play
Unless they
having
moved
it
it.
on the porch.
Did that sound good to anyone?
And my other question would be, I'm not familiar with our noise ordinance. Is there a time limit to when, like, music can be played? We do not have one.
I think there is a noise ordinance, but it's by decibels, we'd have to measure the decibels now.
The only noise ordinance that we have in town right now is in the industrial zone. There is no other noise ordinance in this
Then
town.
it's just the disturbing the peace by state law.
All right. We have a motion and a second on the table. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye. John?
Sorry, aye.
Jeff?
Aye.
Jessica? Aye. Melissa?
Aye.
Mallory votes aye. Motion passes 5-0. Number 4, Sebago Technics Report Addendum. So to provide a little bit of context for this, we hired Sebago Technics a while ago to complete a traffic study for downtown. They shared with us the result of their report, traffic numbers, recommendations, and different ideas for ways to remedy the traffic. And I think and correct anything that I say that's incorrect, Tim and Jen, but, we have since discovered that there's an opportunity to partner with Maine DOT. However, they wanted to ensure that, all options were considered and really like worked through and hashed out in the Sebago Technics report. So we asked Sebago Technics to go back and revise their report a little bit, specifically to, spend a little bit more time on the concept of a traffic circle, correct?
Right, what, it said why the traffic circle was not a primary choice, but they had to put the supporting documents with it, which is what they added with the addendum, with the 20-page addendum and facts and figures and numbers.
And so I just want to be really clear on that because I feel like people might hear traffic circle and think that that's exactly what's happening. This was just MDOT required us to really do our due diligence on all of the options available. And so that's what this asked to Sebago Technics was, in order for us to be able to partner, go forward with MDOT, which potentially will give us options for funding assistance, collaboration, et cetera, which would be really great for us. So that is the story behind this update to the Sebago Technics report. And our item of business this evening is to formally accept this as a town document, so that we can post it on the website and make sure it's in our documents wherever they need to be. I'll be honest, I haven't looked through this in crazy detail so far. It's a lengthy report. It's included in our supporting documents. Tim or Jen, do you happen to know off the top of your head like where the new stuff is?
It's the, it's on the very back, it's addendum number 1. So it's after the last page of the graphs and charts. So it's addendum number 1, the 236 planning study. And it basically just talks about that Maine DOT requested more information about the roundabouts, and they put it in. So it's an addendum on the very back of the report.
Got it. Okay. Thank you. All right.
Madam Chair, I move we accept the Sebago Technics report addendum as delivered.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Anyone have any discussion?
I just have a quick question. So from here on out, what are our next steps?
I'm going to speak to that.
So we needed this to be completed, to go to DOT, for DOT to give us the nod to start applying, at least start the application process for future federal funding and state funding. So this report had to meet their criteria. It now does. So the next step is, now that this report's gone there, will be for you to have at some point, late summer, early fall, would be for the council to have a workshop to discuss the report and the findings and decide then, after the workshop, what your recommendations are. And simply the recommendations at that point would just be to, you know, if you decide that whatever the outcome of the project you want to do, add streetlights, roundabouts, whatever it would be, that you authorize the town to move forward with DOT funding, because whatever we do, it's going to take a year or 2 to get the funding in place. It's just the starting of the process. So that's all it is. So workshop, and then after you workshop, some kind of a formal decision in the fall to decide how you want to solve, if you want to do anything, and if you do, the first step is to try to figure out a funding formula to go through DOT and federal highway, because there's no sense for us doing anything until we know how much federal dollars we could get for the project. So whether we could get 3 million, 5 million, whatever it would be, and that's going to take some time. So there's nothing, you know, nothing's going to happen overnight, but the process is that forward.
I think the gist here is that, and Maine DOT needs a commitment from South Berwick, and that we're ready to like actually do something about our traffic situation downtown. And so, as Tim said, a workshop, potentially a public hearing in the future and stuff before some type of formal action is taken, and
Right.
then MDOT will be on board to work with us. All right. Okay, we have a motion on the table. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye. John?
Aye.
Jeff?
Aye.
Jessica?
Aye.
Melissa?
Aye.
Mallory votes aye. Motion passes 5-0. Thank you. All right, we took care of the Purple Heart Town stuff, new business number 5 already. So moving on to number 6, action on appointments to the Board of Assessment Review and Zoning Board of Appeals. So we've recently had several applicants who have applied to the Board of Assessment Review and one applicant to the Zoning Board of Appeals. I will go ahead and we'll start with the Zoning Board of Appeals first. I will make a motion to appoint Bob Eager to the Zoning Board of Appeals with a term expiring June 30th, 2026.
Second.
Your motion is second. Any discussion? All those in favor, say aye. Or no, sorry. All those in favor, John?
Aye.
Jeff?
Aye.
Jessica?
Aye.
Melissa?
I,
Aye. Mallory votes aye. Motion passes 5-0. Okay, we took care of ZBA. And also, I forgot to mention this initially. At our last meeting, this was a miss on my part. Our intent was to reappoint rather, at our last meeting, Zach Noble to the planning board as an alternate. It's just an item that we missed. So that's another item that we need to take up. So I'll go ahead and offer a motion to appoint Zach Noble as an alternate to the planning board with a term expiring June 30th, 2026.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. John?
Aye.
Jeff?
Aye.
Jessica?
Aye.
Melissa?
I,
Mallory votes aye. Motion passes 5-0. Okay, and then we've had several applicants for the planning board. Question for Barbara. Do we only need to make motions for the people we intend to appoint, or should we make a motion for everybody?
Just the people you're appointing.
Okay. Sound good? All right, I'll go ahead and give me a moment, because I want to make sure I get these terms correct. So I'll go ahead and make a motion to appoint James or Jim Cleary to the Zoning Board of Appeals with the term expiring June 30th, 2024. Oh, sorry, amend that to the Board of Assessment Review. Board of Assessment Review, thank you. Any discussion? Or actually, hold on. This is not my night. I'll make a motion to appoint Jim Cleary to the Board of Assessment Review with a term expiring June 30th, 2024. Also to appoint Paul Steinauer to the Board of Assessment Review with a term expiring June 30th, 2025. And also to appoint Ben Thompson to the Board of Assessment Review with a term expiring June 30th, 2026.
second,
Thank you. All those in favor say aye. John?
Aye.
Jeff?
I'll roll with it. Aye.
Aye.
Jessica?
Aye.
Melissa?
I,
Aye. Mallory votes aye. Motion passes 5-0. Okay. Thank you. And our last order of business is to schedule a workshop to discuss town hall. So a couple of weeks ago, June 28th, we had a public hearing on the topic of town hall, asking the public the question of whether their interest would be into renovate versus build new, to kind of give us some feedback as a starting point, to then prompt us to have some type of discussion on town hall. The council, we have really not discussed the town hall topic as a group at all. All of the information that we've received is the same information the public has been receiving, and at the same time. So given that this is a big item on our plate for the foreseeable future, I think it might be prudent for us to plan to meet maybe monthly in a town hall workshop. What do people think? And we can maybe at least schedule one sooner rather than later, and then figure out a cadence later on. What do you think?
Seems like a good start.
Is there availability from the council to meet this week?
This week?
Yeah,
This week?
this week. Because I'm out of town next week. If not, we can push it a few weeks. It's not a big deal, but I thought it would be
We are at 13.
One thing I was gonna suggest is, are you guys both going to the picnic on Thursday? Staff picnic?
Yes.
Like, do you guys have availability to meet after that?
Yeah, it's fine.
That, I got a food scoot right after the lunch.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so what, is there a time that works for everybody? Sorry. This week, like Wednesday night or Thursday night?
Wednesday night.
Let's say Tuesday.
Tuesday.
When-
If it doesn't work,
Yeah, no, I'm just
I was
trying.
saying, I'm out Wednesday.
you're out Wednesday?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
This week.
I think it's important that at least for sure for our first one, I think we need to have the entire council present, so I think we need to push this out. So looking at, I want to
Are
try
you
to,
out all next week?
I'm out of town all next
All
week,
right,
yeah.
I see.
I would say anything after July 26th.
I'm good from then on.
They don't have any issues? Okay.
I'm back in town on the 28th.
Okay, so let's plan to do our off week, August 1st. Does that work? Okay, so, and I was here, do we need a motion for a workshop?
You probably should.
Okay, I'll go ahead and make a motion to meet in a town council workshop on Tuesday, August 1st at 6:30 PM.
Or earlier, it's up to you.
6? Okay, meet on Tuesday, August 1st, 6 PM, third floor of Town Hall for a workshop, town council workshop on the Town Hall project.
Second.
Okay, any other discussion? All those in favor say aye. John?
Aye.
Jeff?
Aye.
Jessica?
Aye.
Melissa?
Aye.
Aye, motion passes 5-0.
And that was 6 p.m.?
Yep, Tuesday, August 1st, 6 PM, third floor of Town Hall.
Schedule the Zoom so people can watch.
Yes, yes. So that will be, I think at this point, given how early on we are in the process, and there's been a lot of we've been receiving a lot of information, but again, the council hasn't had an opportunity to speak. I think this will be a workshop that'll be limited to us discussing. Public is absolutely welcome to listen in, observe. Know that for future, as I mentioned in the public hearing, there will be more workshops, more public hearings beyond what we've already scheduled. And at some point, for sure, I imagine we'll have workshops where there will be more interaction, I guess, between the public and others. But I think just given where we're at and that the council really has not had a single opportunity to discuss all of the information we've been getting, I think we need to limit this one to just us, but anyone is welcome to listen in or catch up on the recording. All right, town manager's report.
So on the highway, Park Street drainage and base pavement is done. They've added 6 new storm drains versus the 2 that they had there. They're now looming the lawns and seeding. Winding Brook Lane, they're widening the cul-de-sac and moving the sidewalk. Continuing the roadside mowing. They're working on the MMA insurance punch list that they got from MMA last week. Police department, still operating understaffed by 4 people. They're down, they had 6 arrests last week, 5 accidents, 29 traffic stops. Arrests and overall call volume is higher than usual. Chief Gruber and Lieutenant Upton will be completing their FBI Lead Academy certification for the Executive Development Association Leadership Training. The new cruises are almost complete and will be ready for pickup soon. In August, Town of South Berwick is hosting the Educational Roadshow, Rebuilding Our Community After the Pandemic at the Community Center. And then on August 1st is National Night Out at Bogsfield in New York, 5 to 8 p.m. For the community. One thing I want to mention, it's not on here, for the last couple of weeks, when they've been short on day shifts, both the police chief and the police lieutenant have been taking day shift patrols to save on overtime. So I want to say kudos to the command staff who have also gotten out on the road and done their part to help out. Fire department, 17 calls, year to date is 296, up from last year. They're doing training on the red barn before we tear it down. They're not burning or anything, just smoke training and search and rescue training. They did the annual hose testing and ground ladder inspection. It's all been completed and everything's been certified and passed. They had a couple lengths of hose that were bad and been replaced by spare hose. Code enforcement, 5 building permits, 2 plumbing permits, and 23 inspections in the last 2 weeks. The planning board has had 2 public hearings and 1 zoning board of appeals administrative appeal. And I'll turn the library over to stuff to Jen.
At the library, they had a children's author, Matt Forrest Eisenwine, visited on July 5th. Summer reading program had a paper airplane contest on July 8th. That went over well, as it did last year. They have extended hours starting this week. On Thursday and Friday, they're now open until 6, and Saturday, they're open until 3. They're weeding out through the nonfiction books and doing some updating of the group of books, organizing the cake pans.
Fantastic. Love the cake.
And making it easier to go through. He's hoping to add instruments and tools to the lending program to just expand everything that the library does have. Recreation camp is in week 2, and it's been going great so far. The fire department assisted in their annual super soaker for the kids, and they loved it. They take the tanker truck and literally for 45 minutes to an hour, just spray the kids down. The yoga and Zumba class is still going strong. We did have 1 AC unit die over at the community center. We did get a quote from P. Gagnon. It's $9,000 to replace it. So we're moving forward with that. The ice maker is also not working because of a broken mixing valve that's in the building. So we have a plumber working on that. And Maine Municipal Association identified that the Powder House Lodge roof is a safety hazard that needs to be replaced, relying on volunteers to do some of the structural work to the lodge before replacing the roof, which will be about a $9,000 repair as well. Seniors, they were closed last week with the holiday, and they had a crazy happy lunch on the 12th. I'm sorry, that's the week for tomorrow. Christmas in July, clam bake at Foster's in York on 19th. Coming up, assessing, she has been super, super busy, finishing up everything, getting the numbers to us to finish up for mill rates, but she's also working on the KRT as the company for the appraisals that she had a kickoff meeting with them on July 6th last week. That went very well. They'll be putting out a press release with FAQ document. They will be providing a write-up on each of the staff and including their names, photos of them, pictures of their vehicles, so that no one would be surprised if they show up in their yard. We're gonna be starting that late summer. Postcards will be mailed out to all property owners, the section of town that they'll start in first, which that is still to be determined. They will be informed that they'll be visiting their property within the next 30 to 45 days. Any property that's posted, they'll send a letter requesting permission to do an inspection. Board of Assessment review interviews are completed. You guys just appointed those people. The LD 130, as that ends, it's going to turn into LD 290. So Berna is right on top of that and making sure she's watching all the changes. We are moving forward with that, the way it stands for the current fiscal year. An update of value is still underway and will be near completion for next week. Then I'll get turned over to Tim and I start working on options for mill rates for the council to review. Updating the personal property tax value and exempt values for April 1st. She's also reviewing applications for various exemptions, including renewable energy, finishing up on map changes, and working on ownership changes in a spreadsheet that we have to keep from April 1st until we actually make the commitment and send out the tax bills. Town clerk working on vital records issues. Voter registration through the Department of Motor Vehicles has been making it easier for people to register. 75 to 100 people have used this service so far. 625 transfer stations have been issued from the clerk's office. At the transfer station, we have 2 new attendants. They're working out great. Morale has improved with the extra hands and being able to help out. And they are starting to work on plans for improvements for the office and break room at the transfer station. Economic development, market analysis is available on the website for everyone's review. The comprehensive plan phases 1 and 2 are almost complete. Phase 3 goals, policies, and strategies will be completed by the end of January 2024. Seeking grants and resources for various town projects. So Denise has been working on. Finance, HR, safety, entering the property stabilization information into Trio and making sure it's working correctly with all the other programs. Heather and Finance Department has been working very closely with Heather. There's a lot of new things for Trio. She's very good about testing it in our play environment to make sure when we get the bills out, they are going to be accurate. So it's been a lot of work for them. She's also sending out tax club applications. We currently have 55 members. End of the fiscal year, I had to flip the year, get ready for the new year. As we talked about earlier, we'll have 2 check runs, 1 in each fiscal year until we get through that. The audit is scheduled for the end of September. So this is kind of my really busy time, finishing everything up, closing out the year, and making everything sure everything is reconciled before the audit in September. Also working with other department heads on the MMA risk property management survey that they've had done, one being the powder house roof, and a few other things that we're working on as well to keep the buildings fully insured. Planning board has been meeting with an attorney. We have also been working on a lighting project with Affinity Lighting, who did all of the streetlights here in town. They're doing the community center and the library. This is going to have an initial cost, but it will be spread out over the years, 0 cost to the budget. The lights will be very efficient, kind of like the police station. You walk into a room, they turn on, you walk out, they turn off. So it'll save the town a lot of money in CMP once we get that paid off in 6 years. Jay and I have been working with FEMA. We met with the representative today. They changed over hands, so it was a little bit of a meet and greet. And we're looking to get, nothing set in stone for a few months, but it's about $105,000. That's broken out to be paid back from FEMA to the town, 75% of that, 15% of that is gonna come from FEMA, from the state, and 10% of that will have to be town funded. We signed a work order with Hampton Technical Services for the transfer station. They're gonna be putting up new security cameras. The ones that are there have aged out, so, and they don't record. Signed a revised document to add the property card information on the website under assessing, so it'll be a lot more information to the property owners right at your fingertips. And we also signed the work order with Mary Sweeps to get the chimney services repaired after the last council meeting. That was approved. And we're working with Port City Architecture on final draft of their report to return to you.
So on the planning board meeting with the attorney, that was a meeting with myself, planning board chair, code enforcement officer, reference to Sandville Estates, because it's moving parts on the road design, the road features, how it's gonna work, and because it intersects with Berwick, so we're sharing some, so there's some legal questions about design phase, and so we had a meeting with that, that's what that was about. That's it, town manager report. Any questions?
Have one.
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna actually ask this. Transfer station stickers.
Yes, sir.
Who came up with it?
I did.
Why?
Because after talking to surrounding towns, so like in Wells, they're $10 a piece. You can buy as many as you want. Our ordinance said that we cannot charge for them for free. So I picked a number and I said, I can't imagine people would need more than 2. If you're gonna go to the dump with, so you could have 2. If the council wants me to hand out as many as they want, I gladly will.
So I don't know about anybody else, but I've heard from multiple people. And I don't disagree with it shouldn't be a free-for-all, but if you look at me, I have 4 cars registered to my house. My daughter's, my wife's 2, and mine. I should be able to take any car I want to the transfer station. I would take my truck, but if my wife is out, I think if you I would like to see, and the rest of the council can weigh in, if you have 3 cars registered to if I'm paying to register 3 cars in town, I should be able to have 3 stickers. I don't think you should be able to buy 20, because then you're giving them out, but it's key to your license plate. So are we doing this every year, or is this?
It'll be probably every 2 years.
So I would like to see it as, it goes to the amount of the registered, if you want it, it goes to the amount of registered vehicles you have. That's just my personal opinion.
Nope.
We brought that, so Melissa and I, every time there's a department meeting, two of the counselors attend, and so Melissa and I were there because this topic came up, and I suggested the same thing, John. I was like, well, if you registered a car, if you have a car registered here, whether it's 1, 2, 5, you should be able to get a sticker for each one of those. And I'm struggling to remember, there were several examples that had come up in that meeting from the transfer station staff of like,
Shenanigans.
yeah.
Is the best. way
And
to put
so what Tim had said was, you know, for the instances, you know, where, you know, like, for example, like your daughter, she is gonna help you out and go to the transfer station, which I think is probably unlikely, but if, you know, that come and talk to Tim and we can make some exceptions and stuff here and there for those types of instances.
So.
Tim's office will be mobbed.
Yeah, I said, here's my problem with that. Exceptions don't work. Either it's, everybody gets one that has a registered car or not. Because as soon as we start exceptions, then you go down that rabbit hole of, well, they did it for him because he's a councilman, but they won't do it for me. And believe it or not, if my daughter has something to throw out that's not there when I go to the dump, I would make her go to the transfer station to prove a point. Yes, I would. When dad goes, put it in the truck. If you don't, take it yourself. But again, I've read some comments here and there. I've had a couple of emails. I've had a phone call. And there's some personal reasons why people want 3. So I understand it. And again,
So I had a guy, and not, and I don't, this doesn't make a difference one way. We'll hand out as many as you want. But I had a guy come in, he said, I got 11 cars, 7 of them are antique cars. I want 11 stickers. Yeah, no, but I can't say no. It's what it is, right? So I don't mind. Yes.
If I may, I know I'm not generally speaking, but antique vehicles will not get stickers because you are not meant to use them as daily drivers.
I'm okay with that. Good. So that means I only need
And
3.
none for trailers either.
Nope, great, so there you go, so fantastic, exactly. So, and again, it's, I don't know how you wanna go about making that change, if it's just us and we're good.
Change is so made.
I think
You can have as many transfer stickers as you want, as long as you show vehicle registration to the town clerk.
The car has to be registered in the town of South Berwick and you either get transfer sticker. Right, period.
If I may, will that also help eliminate the fact that we are giving stickers to people with out-of-state plates because they take mother's trash to the transfer station?
So there are exceptions, and one of the exceptions was I had somebody come in who said, my mother's handicapped, she lives here, and I live in New Hampshire, I come every week, pick up her trash, take it to the transfer station.
So again, case by case is understandable, you shouldn't have 20 people doing that.
Right, and there are always gonna be, unfortunately, exceptions to the rules. We're not trying to be transfer station police here. I'm trying to solve a problem of overusage of unauthorized people in the transfer station that is costing the taxpayers thousands of dollars every year annually. And it has already made a huge effect on that. We've seen a change of, it's dropped what, $3,000 to $5,000 every couple months on hauling fees. 3, so we're starting to see the payback on that. So we're not, it's like I told the guys at the transfer station, we're not trying to be bad about this. I'm trying to follow the rules that are established by the ordinances in the town of South Berwick. That's all, so that we make this a feasible idea. So you can have the stickers, they can have, as long as it's registered in South Berwick. If it's anything outside of that, the clerk's office can send them to me and I'll make the exception. It's simply done. That's it.
Thank you, that's all I got.
And I just want to make sure, like, for the public, that it's very clear why we implemented the stickers. Like as Tim was saying, we're not trying to be transfer station police. We've seen a lot of activity over the past months, years of contractors choosing to come to our transfer station to dump all of their stuff because it was free and it was easy. Or people from out of state or from neighboring towns. And so that's why we've implemented the stickers, to basically ensure that we're not spending more money to haul people's trash recyclables that are not South Berwick residents. So it might feel annoying to residents that, oh, why are we doing the sticker thing? But really it's for the benefit of all of us at the end of the day, to ensure that our resources are devoted to us.
Valerie, I think an additional point to what you said is a lot of people are confused where why we don't allow out-of-staters, because they say, well, if they buy the blue bags, then they're paying to throw away their trash. But what they don't understand is buying the bags does not cover the disposal fees. So if you're buying trash bags and you live in out of state or not from this town or whatever, sure, great, you bought the bags, but those bags don't make us any money. So now they're buying the bags, but now we have to pay to dispose of the extra trash that we don't anticipate. So people need to understand that while we're buying the blue bags, that is a minimal recovery of revenue for the transfer station. And I think a lot of people do not understand that. And I
It's
just wanted
extra
to
wear,
make sure that
it's
was
extra
stated.
wear and tear on all the machines too. We're doing
Exactly.
2,000 extra bags a year.
Yeah.
Because they're buying the bags.
I think that's a huge misconception with the public that like, I bring my recycling to the transfer station, it just miraculously disappears and doesn't cost any money. It costs money for us to haul that, we have to give it to somebody else. It's not recycling, disposing of trash is not just this free thing. There's a massive cost to it.
And I think they also have a misconception that like with the plastics that we recycle, we don't get, it's not a redemption center. Like we don't take your plastics, go dispose of them and get money for them. Like if I would do, personally do a redemption center, they don't understand that either. We don't make money off of disposing of our trash.
It's not going to clink.
Yeah, it's not,
Yeah,
exactly. So.
My understanding is moving forward, municipalities are looking towards even higher costs 5-10 years down the road. So whatever we can do at this point to kind of gate the users to our facility, will just help us in the long term.
Okay.
Yes.
So I'm talking to the transfer station supervisor, come to find out, once we started implementing this, he had a bunch of people that went, oh, okay, the people were coming in on Sunday saying, I'm sorry, I didn't realize, but our transfer stations are closed on Sunday, and they're all telling us to come here. Because it wasn't regulated.
That's a true statement.
And that's what Dan told me.
Oh, no, I know.
And he said, as soon as we posted, he said Sunday went, boom, all the business on Sunday has gone away because people have stopped showing up from all the other transfer stations now realizing they can't come here for free. Because it was free and it was on Sunday.
Wednesday midday is the time to go to the transfer station.
Yeah,
in case
Wednesday
anybody's
morning.
wondering. Midday, Wednesday, mid.
Okay,
Thank you,
any
Tim.
other questions for Tim?
I have one about the KRT appraisal and the public notice that they'll be sending out. I'm just hoping that there'll be coordination between their public, trying to think of it, their notice out to the public and then any type of messaging we need to do on our own website, social, whatever, just ensuring that it's timed appropriately.
It'll be in conjunction with.
Oh.
So all the stuff they're doing will be in conjunction with. I'm also making them have official town IDs. They'll be kept here, so when they go out on the road, they'll have an official town ID. And I would tell everybody that all 8,000 citizens or 3,000 people that gotta go visit, whatever, down in South Berwick, if you're not sure, ask whether it's a town employee or KRT Services for an official town ID. And that is, it shows our seal, the picture, and a sign on the back by me. They'll have those. If you're concerned, then you can tell them, no, come back, call the office, and we'll verify. We will do an extensive reach out program, both on Facebook and on our website to make sure that we get that information out, especially for today's chaotic world, people going up the doors and knocking on doors and strangers, and so God bless them. But we will do the very best we can to get as much of that out as we can.
All right, council comments?
I just have one question.
Yeah, go.
Not to open anything, but I'm always shocked when I hear the calls that the fire department is going on. What was it? It's a crazy number.
They're up a lot.
296?
But they went on like 36 or something like that last week or something like
Yeah.
that.
17 last.
17, okay, and like 6 arrests in.
The police side, yes.
Yeah, so I just, it's one of those things that I feel is really nice to know and hear. Are we doing anything with that? Does the fire department and police department look at those numbers and see any trends? Now, granted, 6 arrests in a week might not be that big of a deal compared to Portland or.
It has to do with, in the police department, Mr. Vice Chair, it has to do with the phase of the moon. Thank you, we like to do it a little bit, but no, in reality, no, they do. So there are certain times of the year, and right around July 4th for the fire service becomes a busy time, obviously, think that through, right? Also, this heat wave has become a bigger issue for the fire department because of medical calls. That's their piece. The police department, summertime is always busier. Traffic issues, drinking issues, the heat brings out the drinking, the crazy, and then it brings out the domestic fights and domestic assaults and all that stuff. So, yeah, so there are trends, and they do that, and they watch that stuff, and, you know, and the fire department can show you that, you know, it goes up and down, and it'll slow down and fall and pick up during the winter, and falls in spring, and same with PD, but yeah, so every, just so you know, every point of it, every fire call and every police call is actually physically logged into a computer system assigned an official run number. So if it has to do something to go to court, it's given a documented number at dispatch when they dispatch it. And that follows through the system. When they're done, both with the PD and the fire, they submit those, and all the PD reports annually get submitted to the Maine Criminal Justice Academy, gets correlated by how many domestics, how many murders, how many, so they can see trends with that. And the same with the fire, all the fire reports, every one of them, every call they go on generates a fire report. What caused it, if there were serial numbers involved, if it was a certain type of car fire, all that goes to the fire marshal's office. And that renders a trend report by the fire marshal's office that actually gets dumped into the national fire system so that they can keep track of all that stuff, both with PD and fire. It's tracked locally, statewide, and nationally, and it's all congealed together. So it is tracked.
I didn't want to open a can of worms. I appreciate hearing the information, and then, and always shocked when I hear the number is greater than one, quite frankly.
And it's always, I always have to remind myself that fire has to show up for any medical calls, right?
If they're called.
If they're called.
If they're called. The ambulance goes first, and then the ambulance, if they need help, call.
If they need help, okay.
Yeah.
So the higher volume for fire doesn't equate to the number of fires.
Right, they're joint response for fire rescue.
Yeah.
And we have seen a huge spike in mutual aid calls. I will tell you that. Because we have so much ample manpower, and everybody around us has. Our trucks will leave here, you know, lots of times, Berwick and North Berwick were automatic on any reported structure fire. They'll sign on here with 3 or 4 people from their town. We sign on with 2 trucks and 6 guys in each truck.
I say, we're on scene half the time before they show up.
Yeah, and lots of times we get there and initiate all the good stuff, the fire attack, and we're very, very fortunate to have such a large volume of first responders here that can still go during the daytime. Madam Chair, if I may, I just again want to comment, the police department did a no-knock search warrant several weeks ago, confiscated some drugs, confiscated a lot of cash, and confiscated a lot of deadly firearms, or illegal firearms, and took them off the streets. So, you know, the people in South Berwick, we're no different than any other town. It's all around us. It's just very quiet here. The staff does their job, and you know, they get it done. Thank you.
All right. Council comments, John?
I'm good.
Deb?
Okay.
Jessica?
2 things. I just want to highlight the collection bin that's available in the town hall basement for the South Berwick Food Pantry. So that's there and available for people who wish to contribute. The next comprehensive plan committee meeting will be on July 24th. And then I also wanted to highlight the town hall project page that's available on the website. It went up quickly after our hearing, so great stuff. If you navigate to the government tab, you'll see it underneath the town council. And again, it's the town hall project information with a very clean timeline. So thank you to all the staff who put that together.
Nope, nothing.
Madam Chair, move we adjourn.
Wait, hold on.
Oh, yeah.
Something to say?
I apologize.
I want to say thank you to everyone who came out to the public hearing a couple of weeks ago. I hope that that cleared up what the situation actually is for a lot of people. Question for probably Barbara, just for the public, the town staff, we hold an annual picnic, kind of, what's the word, the appreciation picnic kind of thing. And that's being held this Thursday. So the town offices will be closing at noon, so that the staff can go and enjoy themselves a little bit, and the counselors are invited. It sounds like all 5 of us can make it. So do we need to, what do we need to post? Like, this is a thing that always comes up, that
We
like,
already posted, we posted
You already
signs indoors. and-
no, I know, but the fact that all 5 counselors are gonna be together.
You don't, because it's a social event, it's not a,
Okay,
it's
cool.
not it's nothing to do with business, you're not allowed to conduct business, you all know that, it's not that, it's just a
Yep.
social event.
Cool. And then our next council meeting is 2 weeks from today, July 25th. I will be out of town. I will be on Zoom. Jeff will be out of town. He will be on Zoom. So John, if you could at least like kick things off.
We will follow the rules and we will take a vote of who will run the meeting and we will follow all the rules, ma'am.
Okay.
We got it.
Point of interest for the
Yes.
council.
Yes.
And so for the clerk and everybody else here. In another town I manage, 3 of the members of the town council were members on the volunteer fire department. So when one of them got elected, now that we've made 3 of them, that was the first question. I ended up calling the attorney and saying, so what if they're the only 3 that show up at the fire station and go to fire call in the daytime? They can't, because the attorney said, no, dummy, right? He said, what's the purpose of them going there, is the fire department? He said, if 3 of them get in a car and drive up to Augusta, they're not allowed to conduct or vote business or talk business. He said, we're all adults, use brains, right? So it's a social, and it's not, you're not allowed to conduct business, you know that, that's all it is, that's it. If you conducted a workshop, if you said, we're gonna have a secret workshop while we're up there, no, that's illegal. We're not, it's a social event. So those things are allowed, and we just gotta be common sense use of it.
I feel like Jack always put that in my head that like anytime 3 of them or more of us are together, we had to post it.
I promise I won't talk to more than one of you at a time.
Okay. All right, now I'm done. That's all I have.
Madam Chair, I move we adjourn.
Second.
A motion second. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
John says aye.
Oh, I always skip that for the final one.
I'm good.
We're adjourned. Motion
Thank you.
passes.